My name is Susan Rashid Assad, and this is my capstone video presentation. A look at what you'll find in this presentation. I'll introduce my capstone and explain the problem I tried to address. I'll share my project, and I'll discuss my results. Finally, I'll have copyright information on the images I used. In 2021, after the pandemic, I decided to return to get my master's degree in instructional technology. At Kennesaw State University, the capstone is a graduation requirement. My capstone project is what I am about to share with you in this presentation. The problem. Anyone in a classroom knows that time is a precious commodity. The county pacing calendars are crammed with content that has extremely difficult concepts. Our county allots 5 hours a week to be split between science and social studies. In our fourth grade social studies curriculum, we start with the events which led to the American Revolution, and we cover our American history all the way up to the industrial age. Mixed into all of this, we must also cover economics and mapping skills. The material is difficult. Students lack the background knowledge required to help in their understanding. Naturally, this is not included in the content. Therefore, time prevents us from including it without risk of not getting to the content that we are required to teach. So how do we get all of our content in and the background knowledge that our students need in such a limited amount of time? We flip our classroom. My capstone project is titled The Flipped Social Studies Classroom. What is a flipped classroom? All right, rather than have teacher lecture, student reading, note-taking practice during instructional time, the flipped classroom has students do these types of tasks at home. Students can review, they can read, they can look up information all on their own time and taking as much time as they need. It allows them to look up definitions, it allows them to reread for understanding. The problem is at our students have typically 3 to 4 after school activities a week. So their time is limited. Therefore, homework must also be limited. I modified the flipped classroom model to incorporate the homework aspect as part of the morning work during the arrival block. This is what our schedule looks like. Background knowledge required for social studies material, and at times also science, are now attended to in the mornings during arrival. Videos such as Liberty Kids, Brain Pop, any supplemental reading such as Dexter's, which has self-checking quizzes and a wide range of history topics. All these lend themselves perfectly to this format, and this allows us to free up our regular instructional block. The plan. Increased time during each subject will allow for more active learning, projects, hands-on activities, the types of things that bring smiles to our students' faces. The result was students waiting for real learning. This was my timeline. Initially, in determining my capstone project idea, there was brainstorming. I met with my grade level peers and we determined our need. Our need was additional time needed for science and social studies content so that we can include background knowledge. The research that went into the flipped classroom model, and then, of course, implementing. Implementation was difficult. Our students were set in their routines and didn't see this time as a serious working time like they did during the social studies block. So, as teachers, we all came back together. We reflected on what we were seeing and we discussed what we need to do, and we came up with a need for graphic organizers and lists of tasks that needed to be accomplished, a guidance, so to speak, for our students with an idea of this is what you should be doing with your time. This year that I incorporated it, it was a difficult group. It was not very successful. Even after we revamped things, we struggled with our student buy-in. So while I loved the idea, it didn't quite work. I knew that there was some fixing that I needed to do. Over the summer, I recreated my learning management system on a Google site on the American Revolutionary War, and I included all the graphic organizers that the students would need, task lists, and explicit directions. What a success. This is a snapshot of my homepage on the Revolutionary War. As you can see at the top, I have my tabs that take us to the specific aspects of their own self-led learning. The process, it explained to them exactly how to gather the information that they needed, what they would need. Task lists were broken down, and then the subheadings of the different parts of the unit were included. So everything was separate and easier for them to find, more organized, so to speak. This is a snapshot of the different pages and a close-up of these various different pages. This was the biggest help to my students this year. This year I redid after having redone the Google site, and when I taught it this year, it was an incredible success. It was organized. The students understood what they needed to do. Everything was spelled out for them. I had links that listed all their videos that they needed to watch. They had worksheets to complete or any different deliverable material, something that they needed to work on. They knew exactly what they needed to do. We have a social studies interactive notebook, and they were specifically told what notes they needed to take on the different parts of the unit. I also included for my overachievers and early finishers various different things that they could do on their own. I had lists of books. Some were read alouds, others were videos. They had lists of chapter books that they could check out that were on the subjects that we were studying. And this was a big hit. The excitement when students finished what they needed to do and would go to my classroom library and dig out the books or ask to go check out a book from the library. For the first time in all my years of teaching, I had students that were very excited about history. That's a big accomplishment for 10-year-olds. So how do we make a classroom flip work? Well, create a learning management system where everything is included. I created a Google site. It's very easy, user-friendly. It takes a little getting used to at first, playing around with it to get a feel for it. But once you've got a feel, it's really Incredible. You can include video directions. Graphic organizers are a must. Um, and then step back and evaluate. All right, how is this working? Is this working? Is this not working? Fix what you can. And if you can't fix it, it's okay to start over. The capstone experience was at times grueling, but I learned a lot. And I feel like I'm better prepared to take on those big projects because I know it's okay to redo things when they don't work. My students loved the Google site on the American Revolution this year, and I'm looking forward to creating more units, more sites for each of my social studies units.